Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Resonant and there's just been a live stream from Gamescom 2016 in Cologne, and they have released some bits of new footage of Mount & Blade, but a lot of it is what we saw yesterday, which I'm a tiny bit disappointed about. But there are new things that we can go over, new things that we saw that I'm going to go over in this video. See my thoughts. I've got some notes that I was writing down while watching the stream, so we're going to go over it and we're going to see what kind of stuff they showed us. So it starts off in the single player map. Now, a lot of the things you can see in here is just the pure and sheer amount of detail in the world. From the trees, the shadows on the trees, the rocks in the ground, to all the different people doing their different things, to little villages, little animals roaming around, and all the castles and villages. And hopefully you will be able to see dynamic changes in the world as you build something in your village. For example, if you build a messenger post in your village, that will show up in the world map, and things like that, massive walls, bigger castles, and all that good stuff. Hopefully that will show up in the world map and it will add dynamic changes to it. So this is showing off the single player bit, which we haven't actually seen too much of the actual world map. We saw a little bit of it a while back, but a lot of it has just been battles that we've been seeing. So that is really nice to see. Now, as the player goes into this castle, which is presumably their castle, they have some options. Now, a lot of these things are basically the same as Warband. We have walk around the streets, wait here for some time, go to the market, visit the tavern, go to the Lord's Hall, manage the town, manage garrisons, and leave. So, a lot of you, I'm pretty sure anyone that's played Warband will know what all of those mean. But there's also some stuff at the top. At the top, we have a pitchfork. We have some type of diamond shape. We have a little picture of a castle, some spears, and another diamond shape. So, I'm not completely sure what all these means. Leave your comments if you are sure. Obviously, we have the name there. I presume the pitchfork is how many peasants or villagers or workers you have there. I'm not completely sure on the little diamond. 60.4. What could that mean? The little castle? Maybe you've had one upgrade to your castle. Maybe you've built something there. Maybe that's it. Or you've got something you can build onto the castle. Or something building in progress. Maybe the 60.4 is a percentage of, let's say you build a keep, how much percentage it is left until it's completed. Maybe it's something like that, but that is a complete guess. If you have any more ideas, leave a comment. Then we have the spears, which I presume something to do with maybe troops you have. I don't know, because it looked like they had a lot more troops in the actual thing. Although that would be the garrison, then of course he has the army coming in as well. So 26 might be the garrison, and 10,000 might be the amount of money they have. And of course, on the top right, we have a picture of a person, which I think is the player themselves. So moving on, we get to this, and I did go over the screenshot of this in the past video, but I'll just quickly go over it again. We have the siege underway bit on the left, and it has, you can choose different types of siege equipment. This is where you choose your ballistas, your catapults, your kind of stuff like that. Maybe you can choose traps as well you can put down. I have no idea at the moment, but it looks like this is where you get your siege mechanics. And of course, we have the people at the top on your team, we have the people that are attacking it, and you have three options. Request a parley, where you go and talk over what you want to do with the person, if you can try and get out of the battle, if you can persuade them to leave or save your men's lives. You can sally out, which of course was a thing that happened quite a lot in the medieval times. I go more in depth about this screenshot in my last video if you guys want to go and check that out. And you also have leave settlement, which is kind of just leaving it, ditching it, the enemy, do what they want with it, that kind of stuff. So moving on forward, it shows you them selecting different types of siege equipment. So friendlies has got one ballista, one fire ballista, one catapult, and another ballista. And the enemy has got very similar things. He's got a ballista, a catapult, a fire catapult, and a siege tower that we can see there. So it's quite nice to see the AI being able to build stuff. How much will it vary in different sieges? I don't know. Will it vary of how big your walls are? That's a quite thing to see. Something that is worth a note. I have noticed that this city that they are besieging, on the world map it has stone walls, but if you remember in the gameplay it had wooden palisades, which is a little bit strange. I'm not sure what's going to be happening with that. But moving on, we can see that yes, they have clicked the Sally Forth button. So they're going to go into the battle, they're going to deploy their troops, and as we can see here, the commander, which I found out was a woman, as I suspected, leads the cavalry out into the battlefield to go and take the enemy's troops head on before the enemy can actually get up to the walls and do some damage. So the cavalry is charging out and is doing as much damage to the infantry as possible. Now these look like kind of weak peasant units, which I presume the enemy will send out to maybe push the battering ram up. But something really interesting that I saw, and that they said in the video, is the battering ram there is destroyed. They have destroyed the battering ram, the cavalry have destroyed it. Looks like they might have destroyed the siege tower, or it looks like, yeah, they're beating the siege tower with their swords, so they're trying to destroy the siege tower there, which is a really cool thing. So you can actually go out, sally forth, destroy the siege weaponry, so that it's going to either take more time for the enemy to rebuild, or they're going to have less weaponry in the actual battle. Now, as we can see here, he's dismounted by the horse, and the animations on that just look beautiful. Now, what also was mentioned is those aren't all the troops. The enemies rushing from the camp are trying to get there to save their infantry from the cavalry. So there's like first waves. The enemy have a camp back there, and they're rushing in waves. So that's quite an interesting thing, that they're trying to save as many guys as possible. The enemy is knowing they're being attacked, so they're adding reinforcements to that to try and take out the cavalry, which is quite nice to see. But of course in the main battle, the main siege, they're already deployed. So moving forward, what that has really done is that's just put back the enemy a little bit. As you can see, that battering ram is destroyed, and the little animations of the little fireballs going back and forth is so cool. You can also see what kind of artillery they have on the battlefield on the world map. So basically what the player is going to have to do at the moment is just hold off, wait, see what the enemy does. The enemy's probably going to rebuild and attack, but maybe they might be able to talk them out of it. So this is the parlay option. You can go to them and you can make a deal with them. You can make peace with them. There's a new diplomatic screen that we've seen here. This looks like a lot more in depth than the Mount & Blade Warband one. There wasn't too much diplomacy in Mount & Blade Warband except for mods and things like that. So this is really interesting to see. There's a lot more diplomacy. You can offer them stuff. And it was mentioned, because he is not the king, he can't offer castles to the attacking enemy, because obviously that's the king's job to do. You can't just offer the king's castle to the enemy, just saying, go away, have a king's castle. You can't do that, because the king's not going to be happy. Which is quite interesting to see. Maybe you can level up in the world once you've had your own kingdom. Then you can do that sort of stuff. You can offer your own castles, because of course you are the highest up there. But it's really nice to see a new diplomacy screen. And here we have the enemy going into the battle once again with the player here. He is defending, he is setting up his siege equipment, and he is ready to do it. Now, I've already gone through the deep analysis of this gameplay right at the moment, and there's not really much else I've seen on this bit that I've noticed that I can go over again. So, if you guys want to see analysis on this next bit of gameplay, go back to my first video on this, and I'll just skip forward for now. One thing that they also said at the start of the battle is, yes, you can deploy your troops out total war style, or you can auto deploy them, and that is where the AI on your side takes over and they deploy their troops in some sort of battle formation. So you don't actually have to deploy your troops out, take time deploying them in different places. The AI will do that if you want to auto deploy, which is a really nice feature, I think. Now, there are a couple of questions asked on the stream, which I thought I'd quickly mention, because these are probably the most wanted questions of all time. So the first one was, will there be co-op in Mount & Blade Bannerlord? And the answer to that is, I think it's hopeful. I think it's hopeful. Basically what they said is that they are definitely looking into co-op. They can't say a yes or no at the moment, because obviously it's not near the finished stage. But they have said co-op is the most requested thing by the fans. So that really shows that Tale Worlds is taking the fans' requests into account, and they're trying to work on it. So I'm pretty sure co-op may come at some point. May. I'm not going to say anything, but it's looking hopeful for co-op. And the final thing, question asked, release date. Will there be a release date? Unfortunately, they cannot say anything so far. All they said is they want to make the game perfect, which could be stating that it might not be very soon until it is released, but hopefully Tale Worlds can get something out soon for someone to play. Maybe an open beta or even a closed beta would be nice. But apart from that, they were pretty much the only questions asked, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was just quickly going over the stream that was shown by Tale Worlds. I know they didn't show too many new things. There was a few new things that was quite nice to go over and analyse, but obviously the gameplay was pretty similar. It was the same battle and stuff. Hopefully they can show some other battles, maybe even some multiplayer, or what we can expect to see in multiplayer. Just something about multiplayer, because I think that's something that we all really want to see. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more Bannerlord content, and if you liked it, remember to leave a like. If you didn't dislike it, But until then, I will see you in the next one.